Hello, it's Steve White and welcome back to one of my little drum ed lessons, and once again thank you for all the continued support for the app. Please check it out if you haven't. It's going down really well, and glad you're enjoying it, so that's great. On behalf of myself, Mike and Rich, thank you for the continued support. It's really appreciated. So I'm just going to have a little bit of fun today. Essentially, introduction to second line. What does that even mean? It's going to be a little bit about your discovery of the wonderful music of New Orleans. I come as a fan. I mean, I'm from South London. I'm not from Louisiana. And there's plenty of drummers that do this kind of stuff far better than me. But it doesn't mean to say that we can't enjoy and we can't take something from the wonderful legacy of the music from that amazing city, or that amazing state. New Orleans, I've been lucky enough to visit there, and I know some of my American friends. I actually first met Greg Bissonette, my dear friend, in a laundromat in New Orleans. Steaming hot day, and we're both trying to get our tour clothes clean. I love the place, and I love the music. I love the history. I love the heritage. I love everything about the clash of cultures that came from Europe and obviously Africa, which is the most important element. And I love the drummers. I was very privileged to meet and spend time before he departed with the great Earl Palmer, and a magnificent musician. And then you've got people like Idris Muhammad, and going back to Baby Dodds and Johnny Vidakovic and Stanton Moore. You know, these are all amazing players, and we can all learn. Just because I'm from England and a gringo doesn't mean to say that, you know, we can't get something from that wonderful legacy. So this is my little introduction. It's a development on stick control, George Lawrence Stone stick control, which is a kind of stalwart of any drummer's library. And it's basically taking the basic patterns in stick control and developing them with a little hint of a 3-beat kind of clave, which gives it the second line sort of intimation. Going all the way back to Baby Dodds, drummers like that. I love all that kind of shimmy kind of playing. It sounds a little bit kind of corny now, but these guys were breaking down barriers. They were absolutely amazing players, and I do really advise any drummer, any musician that wants to take their art seriously, to delve into a bit of the history, especially our instrument, the drum kit. It's got such a very short connection of a few hundred years back to the rhythms of Africa. So essentially, I'm taking patterns from stick control, single strokes, double strokes. Now, as any of you drummers will know, the exercises in stick control from the first few pages are actually played as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you convert them to 16th notes, just essentially doubling up the speed, they will sound like this against a bass drum pattern played with quarter notes. There's just a few of variations that are inspired by George Lawrence Stone stick control. Now, we all know that you should be practicing each of those patterns 20 times every day with the metronome, and seeing as we've all been having a lot of time at home, I'm sure you're absolutely monstrous at those kind of stick developments and stick techniques. So I'm taking those patterns as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm converting them to play them as 16th notes. And then I'm going to introduce a bass drum pattern, which is my sort of loose connection to second line. There are lots and lots of different patterns that constitute the music of second line, and lots of things that constitute the history of second line music and the New Orleans music in general. So I'm just taking a bass drum pattern that features and has featured over the years. It's a 3-beat clave pattern, and without a shadow of a doubt, all of these patterns have their origins in African music. It's as simple as that. I'm not a great authority or professor or historian of it. All I know is that I really, really like it. And that's the most important thing, is not to over-intellectualize about these things and just enjoy the music. So if I was to take an exercise from stick control and play it as 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, I'm going to play the bass drum pattern on the 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. Let me just demonstrate that so you can hear it. It's really, really simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you know what I'm talking about. You can hear it. It's a universal rhythm. I've heard that particular rhythm in music of Latin origin. I've heard it in from Brazilian, known as a baião. I've heard it in drum and bass. It appears all over the musical universe. And it also, as I say, it does appear in the music of New Orleans as a kind of repeated pattern. So I'm marrying that up to the stick control exercise, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a, and it sounds like this. Straight away, as soon as you invite that bass drum to play against the stick control patterns, it starts to sound funky. It can't not, because we are dealing with rhythms that have worked for thousands and thousands of years. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to play the hi-hat on 2 and 4, and I'm going to play the 16th note single strokes, and I'm going to bring the bass drum in on the 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. That starts to sound quite funky. So I'm really enjoying playing that. You can then go through all of the exercises in stick control and just try different sticking patterns. So if I was to move on to the second sticking, because obviously in stick control it goes from right hand lead to left hand lead. And then it goes into doubles. So you can hear what the method is with this. You can take any of those basic patterns, paradiddles, the inverted paradiddle, and I'm going to kind of just change it up a little bit by playing the right hand more against the rim as almost like a rim shot. So you get that kind of nice sort of funky feel. It's a really nice thing to do. So basically, very, very simple. You find your exercises, you try and practice that sort of simple repeated bass drum pattern, and then it works to build up like coordination and independence. And you can start to sort of expand it. I mean, one of the things you can do, if you were to take like a paradiddle stick in right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. You could put the right hand on the hi-hat. So I'm just kind of messing about with different stickings and moving it around the kit a little bit. I just introduced some accents there, and a really nice thing that you can do is to actually mess up a little bit with with kind of Latin influenced patterns. If I was to play, to take a simple type mambo son type clave and play the accents within the 16th notes, you'd get this. Then marry that up with the bass drum. So it makes for some quite interesting kind of patterns, and you could reverse it. You could fill in the unaccented notes in the pattern with double strokes, which sounds like this. This is kind of almost like marching kind of territory. Sounds really, really nice if you can keep your doubles nice and clean. So I played the clave pattern. You could play a 3-beat, almost like a polyrhythm over the top, just trying to keep the pattern going underneath without sort of moving away from the 3-beat thing. So it's like a triplet against the 16th notes. And it will cycle round to 1 after 3 bars. So anything like that you can think of. Playing the clave as a flam pattern, so the accents are played as flams. One of the things that I think is interesting is to apply different types of clave pattern. And I know in the world of Latin music, the Latin clave police would come and get you, but I'm not kind of in that world. I'm a pop drummer. So I'm just kind of messing about with stuff that I think is really, really fun. So just going through different clave, reversing them, which I know would not be cool, but it's just as a little funky exercise, like a mambo clave. Into a rumba clave, just with that little skip, which is great fun to do. And I'm just kind of finding syncopated patterns which are really, really interesting. So anything like that you can think of. You could play different rudiments, playing flam tap. It's just, you know, using your imagination. You could put the accents on the toms. And just use it as the basis for kind of just being really, really musical. I used to play a song called All the Pictures on the Wall with Paul Weller, which was very much inspired by that New Orleans type bass drum, and just, you know, managed to get it into a really cool pop song. So its influence and just being open about music is so, so important. I have no time for closed minds in music. I have no time for closed minds in life, to be honest. Life is far too short. So please keep watching. Please keep supporting us with the app. It's all going so well. Thank you so much. And I will be seeing you again. In the meantime, see you again. Subscribe if you like it.